Following the events of the previous episode, SG-1 arrives on Mustafa, a planet with a lot of volcanic activity. At least this time, they brought a map unit. Captain Carter says that this wasn't happening a few hours ago when they first checked with the map unit, but before they can dial back home, Dr. Jackson finds survivors. SG-1 immediately moves out to rescue as many as possible. One of the survivors grabs Captain Carter's arm and demands not to be helped. Of course, our species isn't very smart when it comes to listening to others, so SG-1 brings them back to Earth anyway. During the debriefing, General Hammond commends the Colonel for doing a good job in rescuing these people. After analyzing the survivors' clothing and equipment, the Tauri have frankly no idea what they're dealing with or how any of it works. That's when the leader of the survivors wakes up and immediately talks down to the Tauri as primitive and stupid. He introduces himself as Omoc, portrayed by Tobin Bell, and that the Goa'uld are none of his concern. He demands that his equipment is to be returned and his people are to be released. Hammond and SG-1 try to find out a little more, but Omoc is all like, "Don't speak to me, you primitive troglodyte." One of the survivors asks for Captain Carter personally, and he introduces himself as Narim, portrayed by Garwin Sandford. And the general pushes her into a relationship with him as he permits her to take him to the surface. Narim thanks Samantha for saving his life and they have a bit of a thing going on. However, he is also concerned about Omoc finding out that they're meeting. It's the first time you're meeting face to face with her, and you're already going with the "I want to be with you but I can't because of my duty." Going with that stick is a bit too early, my dude. SG-1 sends an airborne drone to the planet, but it's not looking good as the lava is about to destroy the gate. When hearing this, Omoc reveals that his team's final task was to seal the Stargate after everyone else evacuated. But nature came too early for its vengeance, and they were overwhelmed by its power. In order to reach the new home world of the Tolan, they would need a ship capable of interstellar travel. General Hammond returns the equipment to the Tolans, but warns them to stay inside the base.
How you doing?
It may sound ridiculous, but
I have no idea what to do with these items.
oh, well, our sleeping platforms adjust automatically to our body temperature. They don't come with accoutrements.
Sam gives Narim a cat named Schrödinger as a gift, for which he is real grateful. That's also when he casually mentions towards Carter that quantum physics is a bunch of bullshit, and that, among the Tolan, it's perceived as one of the early nonsensical dumb mistakes. Back in Hammond's office, I think they probably wanted to discuss something, but the Tolans escaped. After combing the environment around Cheyenne Mountain, the SGC finds the Tolans as they're just chilling outside, and Omoc deduces that they are in fact prisoners, based on objective evidence. After this little distraction, these guys from a filler episode have come to offer Omoc refugee on his planet. But
You have no idea who or what we are.
We know that you are in need, and that you are here among those who have proven themselves our friends. That is enough.
You're missing the point. His planet is unacceptable to us. These people are even more primitive than you.
after that little fiasco, Sam asks Narim about Omoc. He tells her the story of how the Tolans made first contact with another planet. The first world they visited was in their own solar system, a planet actually similar to Earth. The Tolans thought that maybe they could help and accelerate the technological development, so they gave them a device capable of unlimited energy production. It didn't take more than a single day until they destroyed their own planet. Due to the massive explosion, they threw the planetary bodies of the solar system out of their rotation, which ended up causing massive natural disasters on Tolan. Sergeant Seiler, portrayed by Gary Jones, who will reappear as a character throughout all the Stargate TV shows, has managed to recover the security footage and shows it to SG-1 and Hammond. The footage shows the Tolans literally walking through walls, which is when they are interrupted by Colonel Mayborn, acted by Tom McBeath, who has come to take the Tolans with him. To summarize his character, he's a major jackass, he obviously has an agenda, he obviously doesn't say who he's working for, and even has a head-to-head battle for authority with the general, until George makes use of his rank and dismisses him. With Mayborn leaving, the general tells SG-1 to find alternatives fast, otherwise the Tolans will end up in some concentration camp, or worse. Samantha confronts Nareem about it and they have another moment. However, they are too late. Colonel Mayborn has already received full authorization from the president to do whatever he wants with the Tolans. Hammond himself was told to stand down, and so their hands are tied. SG-1 come up with a plan and tell it to General Hammond on the surface, so that Mayborn won't be able to interfere with it. The plan begins. Dr. Jackson goes to Omoc and tells him the whole truth about the situation. Daniel makes a suggestion of trying to contact the Nox, but they have buried the gate after SG-1 visited their planet. In exchange for Daniel's company, Omoc accepts the deal and receives the gate address. On the surface, Omoc uses one of his devices to send some sort of signal. And honestly, this scene is actually rather beautiful. In the gate room, Nareem pulls a Danny Phantom again. He came to confess to Samantha and say his goodbyes to her. He gives her a device which recorded the Tolans' emotions so that the captain can have these feelings too, which kind of overwhelms her. Their goodbye ends in a heartfelt kiss or two, but Daniel accidentally interrupts them. Meanwhile, Hammond keeps Harold Mayborn busy as the colonel continues to play the big boss. The alarm rings and they quickly go to the gate room to find Daniel and the Tolans prepared to leave. Despite Mayborn's order, the SGC is unable to stop the dialing sequence because they are not dialing out. The gate opens and out of the event horizon comes Leah. Remember her? She reopens the Stargate like it's no one's business, saves the Tolans, then disarms all the soldiers with no issues, and disappears like, "I'm out, biatch." Colonel Mayborn is pissed off beyond any measure, because he cannot court-martial Daniel as he's not part of the military. The rest of SG-1 joins back up with the archaeologists and, alongside Hammond, they can look back on a job well done. For now anyway. And that was the 16th episode of the first season of Stargate SG-1. The Tolans will continue to play a relevant role up until season 6, and this episode is pretty good as well. I can't really find anything inherently wrong with it. The best part of the episode might actually be the introduction of Colonel Harold Mayborn, who will reoccur as a character pretty much once or twice every season from now on, with a few exceptions. With that in mind, I hope you had an enjoyable time watching. I may see you next time with my review of the Thief reboot or maybe another Stargate episode, but I'm not too sure about that yet. Until then, have a good one.